Yeah. No front number. Yeah.
So, Chris,
What's up, homie?
well, okay, let me welcome everyone first. Then,
Oh, yeah. Hey, welcome.
welcome to another Live Unashamed episode. Chris,
Yes.
I thought it was kind of funny. Mason, our video guy, just told us that at the beginning of our previous recording that we just recorded, the camera angle was just so that the sign behind me, which says Unashamed Unafraid, well, the U and the UN were cut off. So for about, what, half of that, our sign said Ashamed and Afraid.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We're changing the podcast. Ashamed and Afraid.
Ashamed and Afraid. No, actually, honestly, this is probably one of the most unashamed and unafraid episodes that I'm ever going to record. The topic is worst moments in recovery. I have some things that I've done that have been super shameful. We don't speak about these just for shock factor. I'm speaking about some of this stuff in my own life to make you feel a little less afraid and a little less ashamed. Because I think there's a sense, particularly for me in my recovery, I've felt this way often, that like, okay, well, a lot of dudes are addicted to porn, but like no one's done like that crazy thing that I did to get access, right? Or, you know, a lot of guys like, we're all sexual people, but no one's like, you know, that was like a little weird, you know, and like, in those moments, I have to start with curiosity and go back and just develop some self-compassion, because what it comes down to is I had some unmet needs and I was trying to survive in those moments.
Yeah.
As crazy as they were. So, I'll go first and then you can share. Sure. I had I haven't told this to, boy, I don't tell this to people. But this really happened, and I still struggle with a ton of shame about this, because it was one of the most out of control moments of my life. When I was in college, it was my first semester. I was a freshman, and I developed like all these systems. That was kind of back in the phase where I was like, well, if I can just stay far enough away from it, I'll be fine. I didn't know anything about recovery.
Right.
I was like, oh, I got to create systems in my life to structure things better and have better habits and know where to go when I'm triggered. I didn't know anything about trauma. I didn't really know much at all. And so I just had blocker after blocker on my computer, and I eventually would block myself out of it. You know, I'd spend half my time setting up blockers on my computer and half my time trying to get around them.
And finding ways around them.
Oh, I have been unbelievably creative. It's kind of sad now.
Yeah.
I'll fight. Give me a blocker. I can tell you a way around it. You know, and so I got to a point where I think I did, at least in that moment, at that point in time, I couldn't find a way around my filter. And so what I did was I went to my roommate and I was like, hey dude, having issues with my computer. Can I use your computer to get my homework done tonight? Right? All the while
Knowing exactly
what I was going to do. I was going to look at porn on his laptop, which is such a violation of his privacy. And I felt so bad about that. It felt like a real betrayal, especially because this guy, I mean, he was one of my buddies, and I had helped him in a really deep slump. He came over from Nigeria and was really struggling, almost didn't make it, and we had become friends because I had helped him do his homework. He hadn't been in school for like 10 years, and you know, so we had a really deep level of trust.
Yeah.
And I flipped it on him, and so I was looking at porn on his laptop that night. Well, this is like the really sad part, and I still can't believe this happened. The computer died while I was watching porn. And I didn't know that when you open a computer back up, it doesn't shut down the entire computer. If you charge it and you open it back up,
It'll just open it back up where we're at.
Yeah. So guess where he was the next day when he opened up his laptop?
That's cool.
He was at school in the library
Man.
around a bunch of people. And he called me and man, I've never heard so much fear.
I bet your heart dropped.
Oh, dude.
In the shame.
I mean, even as I'm describing this, all the blood is leaving my arms and legs, like, because I cannot believe that I did something that dark and that unkind to someone. Like,
yeah,
it feels so out of control. It feels so out of control. And I think that most people who develop an addiction will have a moment like that in their life where they'll talk about most things, but they won't talk about that thing.
Yeah.
I have one or two more of those in my life, but it's just like, I can't believe that actually happened. I can't believe that I was so
driven to
act out that I would betray some of my closest friends in such a brutal way. Anyway, I didn't know that was going to happen. I think, truthfully, I wasn't that out of control that if I had known what was going to happen, I think I would have been able to be like, no, right? It was a huge accident, but
regardless,
I took his laptop,
yeah,
and I watched porn. Boy, that still haunts me because.
Did you make amends with him?
I did, and he forgave me, and I always gave him free haircuts because I cut hair on the side. And, I tried to make it up the best that I could. I've actually gone back and I've made amends to everyone that I actually did go through the 12 steps, and I think that's step 8 or step 9. I actually made a written list of all the people that I had harmed, and I have made amends to all of them now.
Awesome.
Anyway, if there's more stuff that comes up, I'm not afraid to go back, and I have done that once. But at this point, I do feel like I've been forgiven, not just by God, but by most of the people who I've harmed. So
yeah,
it's nice to be in the position I am now. But boy, it feels so depraved.
The things that we do, especially like one of the things that I did was my wife questioned where I was at one time.
Yeah.
And I told this lie. I was like, I was with Brad, one of my employees, when I owned my mortgage company. So when I got to the office, hey, Brad, can you do me a favor? And if my wife asked, I was with you. Like, that's really shitty.
Yeah.
To ask an employee that was working for me.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. Because there's such a power dynamic there.
Right. And to be like, hey, and dude, he was so uncomfortable. He didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
And I could see it in his body, his face, and everything. He knew what was going on. He was like, this ain't right.
Yeah.
He didn't even say anything to me. He's like,
were you with another woman when that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I just got back from being with her, and my wife was like, where'd you go? And I'm like, oh, I was at lunch with Brad.
Right.
And she's like, really? Is that where you were at? And I'm like, yeah, you can ask him. You know, and then I went into just putting him through that. And you know what? That I haven't thought about that for years. And I don't know if I've ever made amends on that. I don't know if I ever apologized to him for that.
Wow.
So I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to call him up
for you, man.
and just tell him I'm sorry for putting him in that position.
Yeah, that was probably, 20 years ago?
Yeah. Or yeah, probably, let's see. It was 2008. Beginning of 2008.
Wow.
Yeah. Maybe in 2007. Yeah, the things that we do to either hide, to find it, to do whatever we can to find it. Man, the lies holy crap, the freaking lies, man, that I would say to my wife, everything. Like, it was weird because she would know. I would get back from being with my affair partner, and she's like, call me up. Like, as soon as I walk in the door of my office, she's like, where'd you go? Oh, I went and picked up pictures, or went and picked up an appraisal from our appraiser. And she's like, are you sure that's where you were at? Like, she would just freaking know. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. I'm like, how does she know? Like, just the lies I would tell just everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of brings to mind some of the ways I betrayed my mom. I still feel so bad about this because I remember seeing the pain in her eyes when she found out that my dad was addicted to pornography right before their 25th wedding anniversary. It was brutal. It was so hard for her. And I remember the 6 months after that, her world was flipped upside down. She was screaming at me all the time. And I could just remember the look in her eye when she'd yell at me.
Yeah.
Even that young, I could tell it wasn't directed at me. I could tell something else was going on, and that's why I finally confronted my dad, because I was like, But I remember the look in her eye, and it hurt me deeply that my mom was suffering that way. And I know that later on, I was 18 or 19. I must have been 18. I was right about to leave for college. And at that time, my dad had been clean for several years, but I don't know that she had really healed from a lot of the wounds. And it showed in the way that she showed up with me. It was very, she was so worried about my relapses that, she would overfunction and become too involved, too invested, not put enough of responsibility on me. And I manipulated that so much.
Yeah.
Like, Mom, you're not doing your end of the deal. You're not this, you're not that. And I would always make my relapses her fault. I feel so bad about that because here you have this woman who, no fault of her own, has been betrayed and has all this pain, and she's healing, and she had some stuff that she needed to work on, but that's aside. That doesn't matter. That's not really the point. I took advantage of her innocence and her not knowing and caused her a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Blamed a lot of my own issues on her. I was irate with her a few times because I thought I was justified. Because she had agreed, oh, I'm gonna keep your passwords for you so that you can do this, and I'm gonna check in with you more often, right? And I would do as much as I could to shove all the responsibility onto other people. And boy, I mean, yeah, I just remember the look in her eye. So you look back and you just see these moments where you're like, I can't believe that I betrayed myself and other people in that way.
Yeah.
I can't believe it got that severe that I was willing to bend and even break a lot of my deeply held values in order to just have one more relapse.
Totally. Well, and that's what we do. Like, when we're in that stage, like, we don't want to get caught. We don't want to stop what we're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I mentioned the lies already, but like the lies I would tell Autumn, like, all the time. The gaslighting, the blame. Brene Brown, she talks about blame is the discharge of pain and discomfort.
Yeah.
So I would blame Autumn for it was her fault that I decided to have an affair. For years and years and years, I believed that. Even when I was in the beginning parts of like sobriety and I had a couple years of sobriety, I still believed that.
Wow.
Because I was like, well, if she had given me more sex, I never would have even thought of going here. But the problem is that I never was taking the accountability for myself to say, no, it was my choice to step out. It was my choice not to have the hard conversations with my wife.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't want to have the conversation. It was too hard. I was afraid of her reaction. I was afraid of what she would say. And so it was my choice to not have those conversations.
Yeah.
Which then creates all this resentment inside me.
Yeah.
So I created the resentment. Not my wife.
Yeah.
I created that resentment. but I blamed her for it.
Yeah, there was some punishing going on.
You know, and so it was always like just blaming her for everything. It was always her fault. She's the whole reason why I did that, you know. And man, I'm so glad that I see that differently now.
Yeah.
To see like, oh, I actually had a choice in all this.
That's quite a big step, isn't it?
Guess what I do when I have when I need to have a hard conversation now?
What?
I have the freaking hard conversation.
Yeah.
And it sucks. And it sucks so bad.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have hard conversations still. But we come through it because we're talking about it, we're communicating, and we're still loving on each other through those things. And that's what's super awesome about it. You know, we do these things, you know, first of all, like, why do we do these things, right? Why do we hide? Why do we lie?
Well, I love what you said. It's the discharge. Say that again from Brene Brown.
Discharge, blame is the discharge of pain and discomfort.
And I would say that's probably the reason for a lot of the ways that we hurt people and that we wrap them into our addictions.
Because we feel shame, and so we have pain and discomfort. So we're going to blame everything else.
Yeah, which is, I love that point, because what happens so often is in this dynamic, we'll have tons of compassion for the people affected by the addiction.
Yeah.
But the person who needs the most compassion, or an equal measure of that compassion, is the person who's struggling. Because what they feel is a sense of being dirty, a sense of being a problem, a sense of being dangerous, a sense of being inherently flawed, and
unworthy, unlovable,
unworthy.
Like, I mean, you name it, right? They totally
right,
and they hate themselves.
Yeah, and I say we because I think it's a cultural thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's difficult to just name that and be like, yeah, we don't have to say that those things are okay, but what we can do is we can have compassion on the pain that led that person to do what they did. We can have compassion on the unmet needs and the deep, deep darkness that they're experiencing. So, I mean, and I'll just speak from what changed things for me, one of the biggest moments in recovery was when I took my 4-step inventory, 26 pages of all the darkest stuff in my life, and I read it out loud to my sponsor. I'm not so much on the 12 steps train anymore. I used it for what I felt like it was really useful for me.
Yeah.
But that right there, because I remember him saying this at the end of it. He said, "Wow, no wonder you got addicted to porn." When I told
empathy,
him,
right?
Yeah.
It makes sense that you.
And for I seriously, I don't exaggerate at all on this. It was the first time in my whole life where I felt completely accepted by someone. And so a lot of things started to change from that moment on. That was like exactly 3 years ago.
Well, that's why, you know, in working with my clients, we have a shame disclosure. It isn't just the acting out sexually and all those things.
Yeah.
It is like, what do you feel shame about?
Yes. And that's the key piece,
like,
isn't it?
No, like we're going to go through like from a little kid to now, man. Like what are the things that you feel shame about?
Yeah.
So that we can paint the story and be like, yeah, the reason why this is a huge reason why you're acting out. Like look at your life. Like when I got done doing my disclosure with my therapist years ago, many years ago, right? He looked at me and kind of the same thing. He looked at me and like, man, I totally get why you're in this place. And with the life that you've gone through, I'm surprised that you're not dead or hooked on drugs.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just blown away. This is a guy that had been doing it for over 30 years. And he's like, yeah, you've been through a lot, man. And just held that space for me. And I just sobbed.
Wow.
So those of you that are going through this, you know that you may be in your worst part of your recovery right now. Worst part of your addiction. And it's so hard. And you feel like you're lying all the time and you can't find the truth. Talk to somebody. Share your story. Share your heart with them. Someone that's safe to you, that can hold that space. And if you don't have someone, email Samurai and we can do it together. Like let's go.
Yeah.
You know, what are you waiting for?
We can hold that space with you.
You can tell us all the things and we'll sit in the dark with you and just hold that space and hold your heart.
Wow. I almost don't want to close it, you know, because I'm just feeling the power of that. There's a lot of Jesus. I felt a lot of Jesus in that.
We got a lot of mini Jesus.
Yeah.
Here's our little Jesus sitting on the table with us.
Guys, thanks for listening. It really is true, though. If you're struggling, you deserve compassion.
Yeah. Some grace.
Yeah, you deserve some grace. I deserve some grace. Chris deserves some grace. We all deserve some grace. Jesus thinks so anyways. So we can trust him in that.
He loved you enough. He loves us each enough. So much that he would die for us, for you, for me. Knowing your story, he'd be like, I'll do it again.
Yeah.
That doesn't say love, man. I don't know what freaking does, because that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, he can mend broken things. Guys, thanks for watching. Find us on social media at Unashamed Unafraid. Get access to our bonus content by becoming an outsider on unashamedunafraid.com. And if this was helpful to you, especially this episode, if this was helpful to you and you know someone else who needs to hear it, stop right now and share it. Because people need to know how much they're loved, that there's hope in the darkest parts of recovery. Until next time, continue to live unashamed.
Yeah.